Good evening, Michigan. Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritsma here at the top corner of your screen. Hopefully everyone enjoyed their Mother's Day. It is currently May 11th, 2025 at 8:03 p.m. And we're going to dive into our Sunday Night Weekly for the week and go over some of the storm chances and just the general conditions to expect throughout your midweek of May upcoming. So let me know if you guys can hear me in chat. And I will go ahead and get started by first off pointing out our current conditions across the state. It's a beautiful evening out there. A little bit of a light breeze came in today from the east, gusting around 5 to 15 miles per hour. Temperatures all day been in the 60s, even topping out at 70, 72, even 74 and 75 near Kalamazoo and South Haven. And a little bit colder up there in the UP today where you had temperatures around 60. But overall, pleasant Mother's Day nonetheless, and you guys have definitely been feeling that. As you can see, no clouds out there today either. So let's get started by going into your temperatures throughout the week ahead. We're starting with the Euro run here. We're going to use the Euro, especially since it has the most accurate data as of lately. Starting with tomorrow, overnight lows tonight going to be down into the 40s, mid-40s out there. A little bit warmer up there in the UP. And then as we head into our Monday time frame, it's going to be a hot one out there. You can see a lot of hot spots across the state. Temperatures well into the 80s for West Michigan. A little bit cooler in northern lower and perhaps over by the Detroit metro region. Emphasis on cooler, though. And other than that, up in the UP, high 80s or mid 80s up there as well. Moving on into Tuesday. I got temperatures in the 70s out there, a little bit colder of a day out there, partially because we will have some storm chances, and that will keep things a little bit colder and a little bit of lake breezes as well. Then we move into Wednesday time frame, kind of more of the same, temperatures in the 70s, and then we roll into Thursday and it gets hot again. Temperatures well into the low 80s in most places there across the lower peninsula, a little bit cooler up there in the UP, temperatures in the low 70s. Of course, again, emphasis on cool. Not really cool if you consider the 70s compared to what we had during the winter. And perhaps our hot spot down there in Berrien County where it could be as high as 85 to 86 degrees. Moving into our Friday time frame there, this is when the cold front starts to move through. Temperatures across the state are going to be in the 70s, but you can see colder weather coming in behind, temperatures in the 60s and 50s. And let me fix something here really quickly. Ryan told me to do something behind the scenes, so I just did it behind the scenes for Ryan. Sorry about that. Moving into Saturday, though, this is where our colder weather comes in after that cold front moves through. Temperatures well into the 50s, a lot colder than the days prior, even the 40s up there in the UP, and more of the same as we roll into the Sunday time frame where temperatures will start to rebound, but still be kind of cold with high temperatures in the 50s and 60s, and even in the 40s up there along Lake Superior. So that is your week ahead. Colder temperatures also next Sunday night there. As you can see, temperatures, we might actually have chances at frost coming back for next weekend. So keep that in mind. Warm temperatures over the next 5 days, and then we have 2 days of cooler weather on Saturday and Sunday next weekend, which will feel nice if you guys have parties, open houses, first day on the lake, you name it. Something to look forward to. Moving into our storm chances, though, the one key story for the week is going to be pop-up storms and the potential for some severe weather between Tuesday into Thursday and perhaps even on Friday. Looking at our lightning density, which just kind of goes to show you where thunderstorms are most likely to occur throughout the week. Clear skies again tomorrow, moving into Tuesday. Some of those storms start to pop up mainly in the lower peninsula. We also included it on our 7-day forecast, which we posted on our page for the UP, just in case some instability does work its way up there. But we expect the UP to be rather dry on Tuesday as well. Then we move into Wednesday. Here you can see more showers and thunderstorms pop up across the lower peninsula, even up there into the UP, over towards Wisconsin, Illinois. And then we move into Thursday. Thursday night especially, this is when we're looking at our chances for severe weather to be on the increase. We could have a couple supercells pop up over in Wisconsin, Illinois, and those at the current time will congeal into a line of storms and move across the lake into Michigan overnight Thursday into Friday. So your plans on Thursday, if you have any plans on Thursday, should be for the most part good to go for now. Really any time after that 8 o'clock, maybe even just to be safe, any time after that 6 o'clock time frame mainly for the UP, but especially for West Michigan, is a time to look out for on Thursday. As it stands right now, obviously things can change and details will move up and down as the week goes on. And then as we look into Friday, we have a chance for some redevelopment with a little bit of lower Cape values on the backside, mainly in the thumb. Right now, again, low confidence. We're not expecting any severe weather at the current time, but as trends continue and if we see any slowdowns happen, then that means better chance of severe on Friday for the east side of the state. Again, Friday will hinge very much so on what happens on Thursday, so keep that in mind. And then as we move into Saturday and Sunday, it clears out. So putting that all together, we have the SBC risks for the next couple days here. Looking at Tuesday, they have a general thunderstorm risk for pretty much everywhere in the lower peninsula south of US 10. They have not added a thunderstorm risk yet for the anywhere in Michigan, I should say, for Wednesday. That should change in the days to come here, maybe probably tonight at the 2 a.m. update. And then the one thing to watch out for is advanced notice here for some severe weather. 15% chance, or 15 to 29% chance from the Storm Prediction Center of a severe thunderstorm, primarily in West Michigan Thursday night. And again, this is the equivalent of what they call a slight risk. We could see a marginal risk expand even further north and east. Again, this is through Thursday at 8 a.m. So this is where they expect the thunderstorms to be, only through Thursday evening if they are going to be severe. So keep that in mind. And kind of taking a glance at projected reflectivity also off the Euro. It's going to kind of mimic what we saw in the lightning density where you see the showers and thunderstorms pop up in the same spot. You can see that there on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday there. And then here comes our line on Thursday moving across into the UP. And it could become multiple line segments. The one thing we are watching right now is the lack of moisture. That could be a fail mode for this severe weather. But as you can see, thunderstorms popping up. The heart of the time frame for pretty much all the lower peninsula will be really after that 8 o'clock time frame. This is modeled projected radar at 11 p.m. Crossing the US 127 corridor, and then as it moves into the 2 a.m. time frame, off into the thumb. So definitely an overnight threat to watch out for on Thursday night. Make sure you have your severe weather plans ready. If you don't have one, now is a good time to prepare one, just in case we do get severe weather on Thursday night. And then we have a lot of wind and rain probably moving in on Friday. Eventually clearing out as we move into Saturday, but it'll still be a little bit breezy out there. And then as we move into Sunday, clearing out altogether. Partly cloudy skies to mostly cloudy skies are expected on Saturday and Sunday, so it will be kind of damp and not so bright outside for your weekend next weekend. So that is the rundown. I believe I'm not forgetting anything else, although I will take a look at our GFS, which is a different weather model that we look. It has been less accurate lately, but it's still a model nonetheless to give us some idea of data. What you're seeing on your screen right now is your surface-based CAPE, which is your storm fuel. And anytime you see these purples turn into blues, anything higher than blues, which is 1,000 joules of CAPE, which is kind of our going rate for severe weather here, that's when we start to kind of key in on where severe weather is going to happen. So as you see here, as we move into our Thursday night time frame, that's more than blue. That's greens and yellows and even some reds in there. That's 3 to 4 times the amount of surface-based CAPE needed for severe weather. However, you have to look at more than just the instability. So if we take a deep dive into one of our soundings here, we mention these quite often during the summer. This is what's called a hodograph. So we look at this thing right here called the skew T, this line that goes up. This red line here is your temperature as you go up with height, and the dew point is there in green. So you can notice, because they're so far apart, they're not close together like that in too many levels, except down here around 1 kilometer off the ground. Again, this is a 2D slice of the atmosphere. So again, this is indicative of a lot of dry air mixing in. However, if this were to become moist, we could see quite the strong thunderstorms develop, maybe even severe. Lapse rates of 8.4 degrees Celsius, indicative of some larger hail potential. And as you can see over here on the right side of your screen, I'll zoom in on it here, that is your hodograph. So when you see these C shapes on your hodograph, that is indicative of some turning with height. So as you go up into the atmosphere, the winds are blowing from, in this case, out of the south, and then changing over to out of more of the southwest to even out of the west-southwest. So a decent hodograph, decent shear. Looking at the lifted indices, our lifted values down there, we're looking anything lower than a -6. We're seeing -12. So a lot of lift out there. We have a cold front moving through, so that's going to kind of produce that lift. So we have a lot of instability, shear, and lift, but our moisture is lacking. So we are missing one of the 4 main ingredients for severe weather for Thursday night. So that's something we will have to watch as we roll on throughout the week, especially this is off the GFS. We'll also have to look at the Euro in the days to come as well. So with that being said, that is your kind of rundown for the week. A lot more going on this upcoming week than we've had this past week. It's been a nice, calm week for everyone out there. We haven't really seen you guys since the last Sunday Night Weekly, but that is a good thing. We'll take that all the time here at Michigan Storm Chasers. Going into comments now. Thank you guys for listening so far. Go ahead and scroll through the comments, see what you guys have to say. 499 super chat from Trisha. Love you guys, MSC mods and sponsors. Yes, thank you, Trisha, and thank you everyone who also helps out with these streams. Now, the special weather statement out there right now is in effect for portions of the UP. I believe this is for fire weather. Again, today it's very, very low humidity and higher winds up there in the UP. So something to keep in mind. Do not, if you don't have to burn, please do not burn tonight in the UP. Some of those effects are also being felt in the northern lower portions of the Upper Peninsula, where you can see right now the temperature actually here near, I think that is going to be the Gaylord Station. No, I think that's Grayling. That is a temperature of 69 with a dew point of around 17 degrees, 16 degrees there. So very, very dry conditions out there today. That's humidity values under 20% in some locations. So anytime if you have to burn up there tonight, please watch yourself. I know there's some burn things in effect out there, so keep that in mind. Do you think that they will hold up going over the lake? Yes, I believe so. The lake will probably not have too much of an influence on breaking down the severe weather for Thursday night. When you get these big MCSs, these big systems like that, lakes aren't really going to slow it down. They're kind of fueled by hypnotic stuff in the atmosphere, so the things that are higher up above the lake than closer to the surface. Absolutely no burning in the UP. Yep. Tuesday, Wednesday will be pop-up storms, kind of the pop-up popcorn storms that we see very often throughout the summer here in Michigan. They're just fueled by instability and nothing else. So we could see a couple strong reports come in. So when these thunderstorms pop up and then they collapse in on themselves, that's when we get what's called microbursts, downbursts. All that wind is rushing down from the downdraft and blowing out in all directions from the storm. So you can have winds that gust out at 40 to 50 miles per hour at times. Severe, as a reminder, is 58 mile per hour winds, so you could see some special weather statements be issued, but not probably severe thunderstorm warnings. But again, if we see the need for perhaps issuing like a limited risk for our severe weather outlook for Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll let you guys know. On top of that, we could also see in the stronger updrafts off of these like breezes and stuff like that, some small hail, pea size to marble size in diameter. Yes, there is a chance for thunderstorms in the UP. Chances for the thunderstorms in the UP are going to be primarily on Wednesday. It looks like Tuesday's going to be drier at this point, but on our 7-day forecast, which you put on our Facebook page, it's looking likely that we'll see more thunderstorms on Wednesday. I'm trying to pull it up here in a sec. Get it on the screen for you guys, just so you guys can see the 7 days that we came up with for the week. While I do that, if you haven't already, feel free to hit that like button, share the stream with anyone else who might have some questions about the upcoming week. I'll answer them here for a little bit, and we'll hop off. There we go. Red Dozier with a $20 super chat saying, hi, everyone, and thanks, Joel. You are absolutely welcome, and thank you, as always, for supporting our operations here, Red. Red is one of our longtime donors since probably day one. Seen him all the time here, so thank you very much, Red. So here is your 7-day outlook for southern Michigan. So this is south of I-96, I-69. If you know you kind of are on that border, you can look at this forecast and a combination of the central Michigan forecast, which I'll show next. So throughout the week here, temperatures in the 80s, 70s and 80s primarily until we get to next weekend. Thunderstorms possible Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even possibly on Friday. I added that there just in case that thunderstorms do happen. Again, it's a low probability at this time, but felt like we had to add it nonetheless just to give you guys a heads up. It'll also be windy on Friday. And then partly cloudy skies are expected on any of those days where it's not supposed to be thunderstorming. Central Michigan forecast, more of the same. Temperatures are a little bit lower here, 80, 77, 74, 82, 78. And then next weekend, 62, 58. Partly cloudy skies where it's not storming. And a little bit, couple changes here in terms of temperatures. And then we also have more clear skies tomorrow for northern Michigan. That's going to be north of M55 plus the eastern UP, east of M77. High temperature on there is going to be on Friday, 78, before that cold front quickly moves through. It's probably that high temperature on Friday is likely going to be overnight. So when you're sleeping, you wake up, it'll probably be closer to like 65, 60 degrees. Saturday, Sunday, 56, 52, mostly cloudy skies. More clouds going to be further up north for next weekend. And again, UP kind of the same here. Not affected as much by the lakes. A lot more warm air advections able to get into the UP from the south, given that there's a lot more landmass, especially you have Wisconsin there. So 81, 73, 70 midweek, 64, 53, and then we even have a high of 44 projected for next Sunday there for the 18th of May, mostly cloudy skies. So again, frost possibilities coming back. We could see some more frost advisories, freeze warnings, not out of the question there as we move into next week, so Sunday into Monday. So keep that in mind. Quick cool down, maybe be the last cool down of the spring, but you never know here in Michigan. We could see another one here as late as probably the first week of June. So that is your 7 days across each of the 4 zones that we have forecasted here. Craig also brings up a good point. Lightning strike concerns with the fire danger, absolutely. Although, well, yeah, we could actually see that. We could see what's called isolated dry thunderstorms, which in your case, yeah, if we see a lot of lightning with not so much moisture, it is definitely a possibility. I will say that a lot of our upper level winds on Thursday into Friday are shooting straight off to the northeast at probably 150 miles per hour. So that's going to be like 6 kilometers up into the atmosphere, 8 kilometers up the atmosphere. So you have everything that forms, all those storms that are going to form, those anvil tops are going to shoot like probably 50, 100, 150 miles out ahead of the storm. Lightning can strike ahead of the storm, obviously, underneath any of the anvils. And if it's not raining and it's dry outside, that will lead to what's called isolated dry thunderstorms. So, fun fact there. If you didn't know something, we could see that. Wind direction throughout the week, primarily out of the west until the system comes in. That's going to be out of the south. Yeah, still some snow on the table up there. We might have to bring out a snow map again. I know I'm saying the forbidden S word right now, but yeah. I was looking actually, I think at the GFS, I had a mix of ice and sleet possible, I think next week on Tuesday. So that's going to be like the 20th of May. So like 10 days away right now. But they were hinting at some ice and sleet for like portions of Minnesota. And the system that's supposed to move through next week, which we're also watching next week early as well. So that'd be the 19th, 20th. It's on our radar right now, but again, it's like 10 days away, so we're not going to get into it right now. Yeah, you get up there in the upper levels of the atmosphere, those jet streams up there in the mid-levels, upper levels, those winds can sometimes go as high as 200 miles per hour. So if you ever have flown in an airplane, obviously that's turbulence, but if you get if you're flying from west to east sometimes, That's how you can get a lot quicker travel time if you're, say traveling from the U.S. to over in England. That jet stream is zooming along 100 to 200, 150 to 200 miles per hour. It's going to push the airplane even quicker. It makes for a return back a lot tougher. So, sorry, I'll put 5 in the swear jar for saying the S word. For right now, I think the risk as a stand is probably going to stay the same up until probably Wednesday or the Tuesday or Wednesday outlook. So I'm sure the outlook for Thursday will probably stay the same overnight tonight. Again, still too far out. But we could see some modifications as we get into that day 3, day 2 time frame. So definitely on Tuesday, Wednesday, even obviously on the day of, they'll change it. But we'll start to see probably some slight shifts and whatnot as we roll into Tuesday. Oh, good question there. Main hazards for Thursday. So starting as supercells, transitioning into those linear segments, that means this risk is going to be primarily damaging wind. So we could see a lot of bow echoing segments that we see during the year, or throughout the summer, I should say. But if there is the shear that we're seeing here, at least off the GFS, which I have pulled up right now, we could see a couple embedded QLCS tornado spin-ups. Quasi-linear convective system is what QLCS stands for. Basically means there's a bunch of embedded vortices within the line segment itself. So you can see a lot of brief, quick tornadoes pop down. But at the current time, the main hazard is going to still be damaging winds. If it's more of a if for whatever reason we get supercellular in nature, which right now I don't believe it's going to be that. I still believe it's going to be a linear segment. But if we get supercells, the cape that you can see here, 4,500 joules per cape, that is going to lead to some very, very large hail. However, again, like I said, I believe it's going to be linear segments right now, so the hail risk is going to be kind of nullified a little bit in terms of timing on Thursday and Friday. So main hazard is going to be damaging wind. If we do get, not summer, I guess, as the username here. If we do get those line segments, obviously shelf clouds are indicative of winds blowing out away from the storm. So you will have a good shelf cloud picture opportunity on that. Definitely do it before it rolls in. Get the pictures out of the way, and then obviously seek shelter because we could see some damaging winds. Right now, 60 to 70 miles per hour possible Thursday night. So this is kind of our second call, I guess you could say, because we started talking about it yesterday. Today is the second time we have reiterated it. We still have 5 days till the event, I guess you could say at this point. So if you know you have plans on Thursday night primarily, so really after 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening, east side of the state. I should mention this. If you guys are on the east side of the state for Thursday night, it probably won't be until after midnight at this time. You guys should be good for your Thursday night plans. If it goes into the overnight hours, then you guys definitely want to be keep it in mind. If timing does shift, though, we will obviously let you guys know if it's going to start earlier. And we do plan on having a timing map out for if it turns into a line segment like we believe it's going to be. We'll have a timing map out for that for your probably forecast package on Thursday afternoon is where I'm going to aim for right now. So stay tuned Thursday afternoon for the last severe weather outlook for that night into Friday. And again, we'll also be watching Friday for redevelopment, although at the current time, not looking too strong at this current time. But again, there's some surface-based cape rebounding on Friday, so we could see a couple strong storms pop up. As a recap, we have 3 of 4 ingredients really in place for Thursday night into Friday. We're kind of lacking the overall moisture. Humidity values of 60 to 70%, that's not really going to develop too many clouds. You need a lot more, closer to like 80 and 90% humidity values. And there's a couple layers in the atmosphere where it gets close to that, but the soundings projected right now as it stands a little too dry. And at the current time, it could be a broken line segment. So not everyone will see probably severe, as it stands right now, Thursday night into Friday. But if we get more moisture advecting in, then I would expect one large, long line segment. So keep that in mind. Are we safe to plant the garden? If you missed it, I will say that the chances for frost come back next weekend. So Saturday, but primarily Sunday into Monday next week. So that's about 8 days away. So if you want to risk it, go for it. But at the current time, we're seeing lows in the low 40s to even upper 30s. That's close to frost category. As it stands 8 days out, things are going to change by a couple degrees. So we could see it as low as 35, 34 even, and that is going to push it into frost category for perhaps next Sunday into next Monday. Our lovely capping inversion out there, actually, I'll kind of pull a sounding here again just to show you what's going on out there. We do have a little bit of a capping inversion right here. However, given that there will probably be a lot of, there is already going to be a lot of lift out there. You can see our values at -11. A reminder, -6, -7 and lower are values to look for in severe weather for lift, adequate lift. And the fact we're seeing -11 goes to show you that there will be enough lift to go through that cap. So again, we don't always need warm temperatures to break that cap. As long as you have a huge forcing mechanism, such as a front or a low pressure system, obviously in this case, that will break the cap no matter what. So capping inversion, not really something to stop, I guess you could say, this entire event from happening. It's going to be more so in the way of too much dry air being around and just not forming clouds at all, meaning no storms. So in a way, it's still a boom or bust forecast because it's all hinging on one thing, being that it is moisture. You can't have storms without moisture, so there you go. And you can see this SARS down here is lit up like a Christmas tree. We look at this sometimes, not often, but it goes to show you how many similar photographs, or I guess you could say soundings, I guess, yeah, that's what I was looking for, soundings that is similar to in prior events and how they validated. So, for example, not saying this is going to happen, but if you look at the bottom one here, where it says 17 May 03 at 00Z, from, I believe SHV is Shreveport. This sounding on the 17th of May of 2003 produced 2.75-inch hail for Shreveport, Louisiana. Not saying that's going to happen with our event, but that just goes to show you that this kind of is a loose match. That's what that loose match stands for down there. It's a loose match to a prior event that happened, and this is, in this case, 22 years ago. So you also have a bunch of other events in here that also has similar soundings for this. So you see right above that, May 12th of 04, 2.75-inch hail also produced from a sounding like this. It even goes all the way up there to July 30th of 1992, 4.5-inch. But again, this is it's called a loose match for a reason. It's not likely going to happen. But it goes to show you that we've had similar soundings like this before, and it shows you what has been produced out of it. So it's kind of more like the high-end thing that's come out of this sounding. As you can see, there's 234 loose matches. So there's obviously they're showing the top 5, 6, 7, 8 here. There's also 225 that aren't on the screen down here. So something to keep in mind. I mean, if there are supercells on Thursday night, then obviously a hail threat would materialize. But right now, again, main hazard is going to be damaging winds. We are on Twitch, yes. If you have a Twitch account, it is at MI Storm Chasers. If you follow us, you'll be one of our first 1,000 followers on there. We only have, I think, 600 on there right now. But if you are a fan of no delays, especially during live coverage, that is the place to be. The delay there on Twitch is maybe 3 to 5 seconds compared to YouTube and Facebook, about 15 to 30. Wisconsin towards Green Bay is going to be more of the all hazards threat. I would say probably south of Green Bay, though, more than anything. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this crash course on our soundings here, what we look at for and all this data. It's a lot to take in, but I try to kind of dumb it down for you guys just to the best of my ability here. So for example, you can also look at other values in here, such as storm motion. So if we zoom in on these values down here, where that says bunkers right and bunkers left, and the red and the blue, that is your likely storm motion. So if it's a right moving storm, 25 knots, so relatively slow, that converts to about 30, 35 miles per hour. If it's moving left, it'll be in the vicinity of 40 knots, so about 45 to 50 miles per hour. So learning things. I love educating, and soon I will have a way. I'm still planning to get a video out about soundings here on the YouTube channel. So make sure you're following us on YouTube or subscribed on YouTube. It's free to do. Hit that big red button, and obviously if you haven't already, hit the like button. And we'll have a video out for this hopefully in the weeks to come. I do got a busy week upcoming though. I got a couple visits planned for some local schools around the area to present. So you'll still see me. You'll still see my forecasts, but I will be busy this week. Not sure if any videos are going to get done, but Ryan's going to be back this week as well, so he'll be around. Make sure to say hi. Trisha with a $4.99 super chat. I mentioned in a previous live, people are driving from up north to replenish plants and trees. That is a good point there, especially a lot of deforestation from that ice storm. So thank you for that heads up. If you are one of those people, especially for Thursday night, Friday, keep it in mind. Severe weather is possible. But there's your rebound of Surface Space Cape on Friday afternoon. So you can see it goes right back into those blue values I was talking about. So above that threshold of 1,000. So we could see some instability storms pop up. But if you click on a sounding, this is what the key is here. It's basically like the X-ray. What can we see? Reds and green lines very far apart. So humidity values, as you can see here, low level and mid-level relative humidity around 52%. That's not going to produce many clouds. So a little too dry on Friday as it stands right now. If we see more moisture mixed in, then we could see some storms develop on Friday. But again, moisture, we're lacking it. So as it stands right now, the severe threat for Friday is overall low. But this is a sneak peek into next week, Monday to Tuesday. Off the GFS, you can see some more Surface Space Cape zooming in. But again, too early to tell right now. We're not going to focus on Tuesday until we get through this week. So Tuesday of the 20th. Yeah, those lines on the skew T, those reds and green lines, if they're closer together, that means it's closer to 100% relative humidity. Clouds really start developing around 80 to 90%. So the fact that we only have 50 through 70, not a good sign for clouds to be developing at all for especially Friday, but we also have that possibility on Thursday being too dry as well. Yes, anyone can get access to these soundings. This website is the College of Dew page. You also have the Pivotal Weather, which is this site here. Some of these soundings aren't available to the public unless you have a subscription. And then, yeah, mainly Pivotal and College of Dew page you can check out soundings for. There's also, I think, weathermodels.us or something out there. I don't use it, but I know other people have. Any other questions here? Tropical Tidbits, yeah, that's another website there. Have a good one, not summer. the moisture is lacking, or the SPC issue risk so far out. The potential's there again. 15% to 30% chance is just a probability. That's at the same time a 70 to 85% chance that it still won't happen. So the odds are stacked against it. However, given that we have the ingredients, we have 3 of the 4 ingredients in place, so there's definitely a risk there if we do get any moisture. So it's definitely for safekeeping. If they just did no risk throughout the week up until the day of, it would kind of look bad on their part. So I understand from their perspective. Again, it's a probability. It's probably, I can't speak, probability based. So just because there's a 15% chance of severe weather does not guarantee that you're going to have severe weather. It just goes to show you it's a chance. So keep that in mind with any of our severe weather outlooks, especially our in-house forecast as well. We also release probability-based forecasts. So if we issue guys in an elevated risk, for example, for Thursday night, doesn't guarantee you thunderstorms. It's still a higher chance, but there's still like a 70 or 60% chance that it won't happen at all. So something to note. But with that, I'm going to get into a little bit of recap. Again, temperatures throughout the week. Go back to our 7-day forecast here. We'll go to central Michigan, kind of give you a centralized look throughout the week. This is what we're looking at for conditions throughout the week here. Partly cloudy skies, possible tomorrow. Sunnier the further north you get in the state. We have some clouds settling in tomorrow night. Those will kind of break up again on Tuesday, where thunderstorms are possible. Highs of 80 and 77. Then 70. It gets a little cooler on Wednesday there as clouds kind of stick around. Thunderstorms possible. Instability storms, I should say. And then it clears back out for Thursday. You'll have a pretty nice Thursday there. Reading in between the lines here, it will be a nice day on Thursday. However, Thursday night is when we have to start watching out for some late night strong to severe thunderstorms. And then on Friday, we also listed here thunderstorms. Wind's going to be the main thing, but chance of thunderstorms is still there if we get more moisture to advect in. And then the cold front will move throughout the day, Friday into Saturday. Temperatures dip down into the 60s, 50s, and even if you're in the UP, the 40s for highs there. Frost potential is moving back into the region. So if you have flowers to plant, I would definitely wait, especially if they're sensitive to these colder conditions, as it looks like frost potential does come back for late next weekend into the start of the week following. So that'd be like Sunday, Monday, so about 7 or 8 days away from now. So that is your look at conditions throughout the week for temperatures. As you can see here, the low temperatures is another thing to watch out for here. I know for frost purposes, 40 degrees is getting kind of close. So that number can move up and down by like 5 degrees. So that could get as low as 35, maybe even 34. But throughout the week, not bad. Overnight lows in the high 50s, even 60s across the region. That is a great time to keep your window open at night and let some nice, cool, fresh air move in. Turn off that heat, turn off that AC. You don't need it for these overnight periods. But again, as we move into next weekend, you have to keep that in mind. It will be getting colder again and not great for planting purposes. Looking at our simulated reflectivity once more throughout the week, you can see those showers, or the cloud cover, and then eventually showers move in for Tuesday morning, breaking apart, and we could see some more thunderstorms pop in for the afternoon hours on Tuesday. More on Wednesday there, instability storms popping up in the backside of that low that moves off to the east. And on Thursday, it clears out pretty well. We could see maybe a pop-up shower there in the thumb, according to the Euro, of course. And then as we move into the overnight period, that line of storms moves towards the UP. This is around 8 p.m. And then around 11 is when this moves into the lower peninsula. I would say probably around 9 on the west side of the state. Right now, again, it can adjust by a couple hours, so it could be like as early as 6, maybe as late as midnight. Then as we move into the 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. time frame, those storms move off into Ontario. Friday, we could have some storms pop up here across eastern and central lower, depending on if we can get moisture to advect in. But then as we move into Saturday, still windy out there. You can see these contours really close together. The closer these black lines are the closer these black lines are together, the higher the wind will likely be. And then Sunday it also clears out. So overall, not a bad forecast. We just have that one hiccup potential on Thursday night. Not too many plans will likely need to be canceled for this unless you have plans that involve Thursday into Friday. And then we'll have to watch Friday afternoon closely as some Cape rebounds, aka storm fuel, for the Friday afternoon period. Again, the one ingredient we're missing is moisture. So if we have no moisture, then we won't have that many storms, if any at all. So that is your quick recap. We're going to go through comments one more time here and then jump into our sponsors. I see we have from Evan here, 10 gifted memberships over on our YouTube channel. So if you are a YouTube subscriber, which again is free to do, check your account. Evan has just generously donated 10 gifted memberships here at MSC. So thank you, Evan, and congrats to those who have just been gifted a membership. Again, those memberships are in effect for 30 days, and then they cancel automatically if you don't want to up it on yourself. That gets you access to a bunch of our emojis you can use here to chat, early access to our videos. Also, we have our watch parties sometimes for other events. There's a couple of perks. You can check them all out on our YouTube channel. And it's also encouragement if you guys haven't subscribed on YouTube yet. Gifted memberships are always happening. We even here at MSC give away memberships ourselves, like 5 to 10 every month here on us. So hit that subscribe button today if you haven't already. If you're following on YouTube or if you're following on Facebook, feel free to hop over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button as well. Again, free to do. Let's see what else here. A couple new people watching on Twitch. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. Tommy becoming a member for month number 8. EF0 member here. Thanks, Joel and Ryan and mods. No problem. Appreciate you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for becoming a member for month number 8. Can we see an enhanced risk? Definitely a possibility for damaging winds. I would not say for anything else at the current time, but if we do get this one large line segment like the Euro is kind of hinting at here, that would produce a good chance for some severe wind reports across the state. So definitely enhanced for, if anything, it would be for damaging winds. We do have channel points enabled on Twitch. I'm not sure if it's enabled right now, but if you do exclamation points and you're watching on YouTube and Twitch specifically, they should be there. Richard, I don't know what you're referencing here, but we haven't had severe weather in a long time here in Michigan. We have not forecasted severe weather for any of these days this weekend. So again, we haven't been forecasting severe weather in that last couple weeks. So it's been nice. It's been nice and quiet. But again, this kind of just serves as a heads up. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it does serve as a heads up as the ingredients do increase. And as a friendly reminder, weather does happen outside of everyone's backyards. Just because it doesn't happen at your place does not mean it happens at your neighbors down the road by a half a mile. So keep that in mind throughout the severe weather season in general. We don't forecast for anyone's backyard specifically. We forecast for entire areas. Winds would be out of the south as we move into the week. That will increase with our shear moving, or our shear values will increase. So you have a south wind moving into a west wind as you go higher into the atmosphere. So other than that, I'm going to go ahead and go through our sponsors really quick. Again, what we do here at Michigan Storm Chasers is not free. We do have a lot of outstanding costs, expenses, a lot of the models here we also have to pay for, streaming operations, you name it. So we'll go ahead and go through our ads here. Feel free to check them out, take screenshots as I scroll through them. Feel free to pause the stream if you see a business you would like to support. Again, these are all local businesses here in Michigan, so feel free to reach out to them. They're all trusted sources here at Michigan Storm Chasers that we trust. So feel free to check them out. Our premier sponsor of the day, of course, we'll start with our newest one, Top Gun Roofing Exteriors out of West Michigan. Trusted source for roofing, siding, gutters, and windows. Number on your screen, 616-900-8033. The rest of the sponsors are as follows. You have Guardian Technologies, our Skynet sponsor there. StormGuard Roofing and Construction, based out of northern Metro Detroit. Lifestyle Exteriors, based out of the central Michigan, kind of Lansing to Traverse City region. Katz Roofing and Siding, based out of the Lansing, Potterville, even Battle Creek area. Pro Powder, for all your powder coating needs, out of South Haven. Mike Hayes, Roofing and Siding, based out of Sanilac and St. Clair. Those counties over there in the thumb. McKay Tree Specialist for all your tree needs across southeast Michigan. And for West Michigan, Kuiper Tree Care. For Kalamazoo, Gull Lake specifically, you have Gull Lake Tree Pro. FBI Buildings for all your barn dominium needs across the Lower Peninsula. Henkel's Tree Service specifically for our St. Joseph County region. On Top Roofing, based out of Livingston County. Floor Covering International Michigander region, as for all your flooring needs. And then lastly but not least, you have Schneider Commercial Building Solutions and Shield Public Adjusters, both of those businesses located out of Lansing for all of your adjustment in terms of insurance and for commercial roofing needs. Those are your businesses to contact there. So thank you very much, sponsors. We can't do it without you guys. We would cease to exist, I guess you could say, if we didn't have our sponsors. So thank you very much, sponsors. And again, if you want to check those all out, feel free to rewind the stream, take a screenshot, contact them there on the phone number on the screen. They're also listed on our website at www.michiganstormchasers.com. You can find our About Us tab. So with that being said, I don't believe I'm missing anything else here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight for this Sunday Night Weekly. We'll be back for some briefings throughout the week as necessary if the severe weather risk for Thursday is maintained, as we believe it should be at the current time. But again, if our moisture values continue to dip, then that severe weather risk for Thursday will kind of be what we call a nothing burger. So again, a very much boom or bust forecast upcoming here for Thursday night for severe weather. Other than that, we have 6 days of decent weather, warmer conditions, and then a cool down for the weekend. Still comfortable out there with temperatures in the 50s and 60s. So can't complain too much. We need the rain. It's a little bit dry out there, and it'll feel nice nonetheless wherever you are in the state. So with that being said, I am Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritsma signing out for the night. We'll catch you guys next here on another stream at Michigan Storm Chasers. Again, make sure you're following us here on YouTube. I should say subscribing on YouTube. Free to do. For more daily forecast videos. For any other short videos, you can follow us over on TikTok at MI Storm Chasers there. So with that being said, I'm out of here for the night. You guys have a great rest of your Mother's Day evening, and we'll catch you right back here next time at Michigan Storm Chasers. See you, everybody.